The International Federation of Red Cross and Red Crescent Societies, IFRC, is warning that the ongoing conflict in the Middle East is causing major disruptions to humanitarian supply chains worldwide. Rising costs and delays are affecting sea, land and air transport, with essential aid taking longer to reach the communities that need it most. To help us understand the scale of the problem and how the IFRC is responding, we now speak to Nikola Jovanovic, IFRC's Global Supply Chain Coordinator for Emergencies. Nikola, thank you for joining us and good morning to you.
Good morning and thanks for having me.
It's our pleasure. Can you give us a snapshot of how the Middle East conflict is affecting the IFRC's global supply chains right now?
Yes, present conflict in the Middle East is causing a lot of delays and increase of the cost. What makes the situation critical practically is a combination of the rise in transport costs, longer delivery times, and tightening humanitarian budgets, which is something that we are seeing in decrease in last couple of years. This practically means that every Swiss franc buys less assistance, and for IFRC and our national societies, the main priority is to absorb the shock through the stronger supply chain management and practically to try to alleviate the issues and challenges that are coming with this trend. It's hard to isolate and say which part of the supply chain, which leg is the most affected, because when we speak about the humanitarian supply chains, it's we need to look at it from the global aspect. So practically, it's a global science, and one disruption can cause delays and raise of the cost on the following ones. Just as an example, I can give you, if you remember, a couple of years ago, the vessel that blocked the Panama Canal caused massive delays all around the world. But we are seeing these days the communities worldwide, including all of the continents, but especially Africa and the Middle East, are massively affected, especially because of the disruptions in the Gulf of the Gulf countries in the Gulf region. So Strait of Hormuz, it goes without saying, but also rest of the ports around Dubai and other Middle East.
So you mentioned that it's difficult to ascertain in terms of which parts of the world are most affected, but which modes of transport are under the most pressure? We mentioned that sea, land and air transport are all seeing rising costs, and there's particular routes, there's Strait of Hormuz that you mentioned.
Yeah, exactly. So I would say the Strait of Hormuz and airspace restrictions is the main issue that we are facing, but also massive delays in the ports. But we can see in Kenya, for example, in Eastern Africa, is that port of Mombasa practically diverting vessels to the port of Lamu, which handle more ships from beginning of the year than for the whole year of 2025. And that illustrates a lot that practically, as I said, looking at the supply chain as the global phenomena, giving us a good overview that all of means of transport are affected. But if I need to say which are a little bit more than others, definitely the airspace and the sea transportation. We're using road more than we use it normally, transporting goods out of our global hub in Dubai via road to the sub-Saharan Africa, and via Egypt, for example, we delivered the goods to South Sudan. And what used to be hours for now, those are the days now, or even weeks.
With your hub in Dubai still operational, how is that assisting then in mitigating some of these challenges and the logistical strategies that you're using to keep humanitarian goods going there?
Yeah, hub in Dubai is operational. It is just causing, as I said, extensive raise of the prices, as well as longer delivery times. But International Federation with the national societies is having a global impact. So our organization consists of 190 plus national societies all around the world. And what we are trying to do at the moment is to diversify the supply routes. Using only Dubai, is obviously not an option, but Dubai, as I said, is fully operational, while we are also diversifying supply routes from the other regional, sub-regional hubs and benefiting from global presence of the national societies, where we are using also their hubs and support that are coming from other parts of the world, which are a little bit easier to source and send from. Also, diversification of the suppliers and our sourcing strategy, which is based on the regularization and the localization, practically is what giving us the advantage. Localization was never more important than now. We learned in the last couple of years, not just in this example, that having, as they would say, all eggs in one basket is not something that will build a resilient and sustainable supply chains. So practically, as I said, regionalization and a different sourcing strategy from the local partners and suppliers is helping us a lot.
How do these delays and higher costs affect the aid that needs to reach the most vulnerable communities? I mean, we speak of the direct impact, but what about those ripple effects that may not be that direct, but will cause further challenges moving forward?
This is true. This is actually true. That means that every franc buys us less. The most exposed and the hardest to reach populations are those in active conflict zones, the one in the border areas and remote regions, which are dependent on imported aid. In our network, this includes part of the Middle East and, as I said, Gulf countries and hubs, but also the globally. When supply chains are disrupted, there are communities where delays are reduced volumes and they feel it first. So yes, definitely, we are trying to overcome the issue with the diversification, as I said, of the supply chains and practically trying to avoid any trade-offs when it comes to the humanitarian assistance.
Are there any calculations made by the IFRC in terms of if these emergency operations and transport costs and delays continue to rise, how long the time will be before the situation becomes difficult to deal with or reverse?
Well, it is hard to say, but our priority is to avoid impacting people by adapting the supply chain first. We definitely look in this trend to stop, but it is very hard to forecast when and in which way this will happen.
So what role can governments, donors or partners play in supporting the IFRC to stabilize the supply chain and maintain aid delivery?
Well, most of everything we are looking for our partners and the back donors to support us in a way of stop the tightening humanitarian budgets. The whole humanitarian community, even more than and wider than the International Federation, the national societies, are facing the tightening of the humanitarian budgets in the last couple of years. We were seeing the deterioration of the institutional donors donations, and we are seeing the big need to get a little bit more support, flexibility, and understanding that things are taking just a little bit more time to happen before they will happen.
Nikola, thank you so much again for your time. We appreciate the update and your insights.
Thank you for having me again.
Thank you. Nikola Jovanovic is IFRC Global Supply Chain Coordinator for Emergencies. That is the International Federation of the Red Cross and Red Crescent Societies, giving us an update there and explaining how rising transport costs and delays are affecting the delivery of humanitarian aid worldwide as a result of the Middle East conflict.